This was a great shot as well. And this also is interesting to note because it looks like all of the population here are bald, which we kind of, I guess, knew that already with what we've seen of the Harkonnen soldiers and the Harkonnen family members, of course. But it was just interesting to see this dense populace in this manner. And again, the scale of this is incredible. And it looks like it's some sort of ceremony here, possibly to announce and celebrate Phaedratha being chosen as the Baron's heir. If this is right before the arena scene, I'm unsure about that part, but really cool looking, really cool design. And I do like that we're seeing a lot more of Giedi Prime. So again, that's another indication that we are seeing more of things that we didn't get a really good look at before. We saw, I think, a couple of shots, I think, of Giedi Prime, but not really like close-up shots. And then we also just saw like the Baron's inner chambers. And again, these look like real people. They're probably not. I'm sure a lot of these are CG, but they do look real. I hate the bald aesthetic choice, but I will live. It would have made more sense for just the slave class. Yeah, I think what they've decided to do here is that it seems to be I guess a symptom of the planet itself. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it either, as far as, especially when it comes to Phaedratha. It does make this interpretation stand out, for sure. And it could be just another visual way to indicate the toxicity of Giedi Prime, which they haven't said that that's what that is. They haven't conveyed it or just said it out loud. And I don't think Villeneuve has stated that himself, of why everyone is bald. See, that's another thing I would like to know. As far as his creative choices, why is everyone bald? But that's an interesting thing too, that as you noted, for the slave class. I think it's just, I don't know if it's the lighting of the planet itself, the toxic atmosphere, and that is just a physical manifestation of it, which I do think is interesting to convey, that everyone kind of looks pale and sickly, and almost not sickly almost. I think the slave class can look unhealthy, definitely, but the royal family or the house members should look the healthiest, obviously. I think that's what it is. I suspect that. Hopefully we'll learn more from the director about these choices, because I'm very interested in that and those details. I did like this shot. This was really good, and I love the detail again with the costumes. And I think this is the same garb, if I'm not mistaken, that the Beast Raban was wearing in another scene with the Baron on Arrakis. And again, I like the design here. It looks like this necklace, or this, it looks rubber as well. Very interesting material there. This looks like their formal wear for ceremonies like these. Some actually do like the baldness, as Dan said. It makes the Harkonnens more threatening. I can see that. They definitely look threatening. They look intimidating, and it's very interesting too how their world looks so monochrome, and that would make sense. I mean, because yeah, it's not an ideal place to live, obviously, in every sense of the word, but particularly with how they've ravaged the planet and just uber industrialization. Yeah, and this is just a physical manifestation of it. I understand that. I think it's cool. It's a choice, and it definitely sets Villeneuve's antagonist apart from other interpretations. I think it's the eyebrows that are the most unsettling. No eyebrows. Different aesthetic, and it does make them stand out drastically from other planets, other houses and populations. So it's a really cool way to distinguish everyone, and especially with the Harkonnens versus Atreides. It's a very stark contrast, and I do appreciate the effort to do that, and especially, again, in a way that is done visually, that conveys all of these different things. I appreciate that. At least you know that Austin Butler can make a good Lex Luthor.